You should 100% show your children boys guns. Give them guns, talk about guns, show them what guns do, and teach them everything you can. This is why. Good afternoon, welcome back, ladies, gents, and Pikachus. I'll apologise for the sound being quiet. The microphone is here, but I will need both my hands for this because I'm going to talk to you about guns and children and why children shouldn't be given guns, but should be given toy guns so they can have explained to them why they shouldn't have the real ones. I'll start with some examples that I have. Right, the first one, this is just a plain old toy pistol that I got for Christmas some years ago. It doesn't shoot anything. It does have this bit opens and it looks, you know, bullets come out and go in and you can spin it and do that, and it takes a battery, and if it's got a battery in, it does a pew, you know, like a cowboy gun shooting noise. So you can be the judge whether this looks realistic enough to be a criminal item to own. Bearing in mind my parents bought this for me when I was a kid, and loads of people's parents bought them for these for their kids because it's a toy gun. Boys like toy guns. They just do. So that's evidence one. Evidence two is this one. Now, I put it to you. Does it look any more or less realistic than the 100% toy gun? It's exactly the same. It's got a fake ammo bit. There, it's got a safety, it's got all the things that a normal gun would have. But this actually does fire things. This fires little kind of foamy pellets where I've tested it. You can hold it right to your head and bang, 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 shoot a whole cartridge into your own face. And what happens, you can't hold it right to your head because it just jams and then nothing will fire out and you don't get hurt at all. If you hold it about here, you can shoot pellets into the side of your head and it doesn't hurt, really. You can feel them do this, but it's not painful. Even for a little kid, it wouldn't be painful. However, if I'd have shot myself in the eyeball, I would probably have had a nasty injury. I wouldn't have been blinded, it wouldn't have actually done that much damage, but it would have hurt. And it could have scared a kid if I shot them. So, it remains to be seen. If both of these were sold alongside each other in a shop, they would both be considered toys, even though this one isn't. This one actually can fire things, even though it's got zero stopping power at all. This one can't fire anything. But my nephew was told, because I bought these to explain to him about the upcoming terrorism and the riots and the wars and stuff. I never had that conversation with him. I was banished. He probably got told I did something horrible to deserve that. I did not. I didn't even get a chance to say goodbye to him. We're not allowed to talk anymore. My 10-year-old nephew. But anyway, I got these for him. Well, this one I already had, but I got this one for him so I could say, right, son, in life you're going to meet people. They'll probably bring them into school. They're going to bring these in and they're going to tell you that they're real. But they're not. They're no better or worse than the people who bring these in and tell you they're real, and then prove it to you by firing something out of it. Again, it's a lie. It's false news. It's not real. Like I explained, you can hurt someone a tiny little bit with this if you shoot them right in the eye from close range, but past that, this is a toy, right? Then you've got something like this. This is even more realistic. I can't believe the cartridge fell out. That goes to show you when the last time I used it. There you go. That's what it's meant to do. This is actually... This is a BB gun like that one though, but this has got a little bit of stopping power, which I've tested. It does hurt. And the other thing you can do is slam fire, where you hold this down and you just go like that until you got no more ammo, right? Slam fire. If you do that at close range to someone, they're in for a little bit of a shock. It hurts more than you think it would. Not only that, if you hit someone in the eye, you can blind them, right? But what I bought these for is not so we could go out and shoot things. Notice I didn't buy any pellets at all, not one, right? The reason I bought these is to demonstrate to a child in a low light condition. If I switch the lights off, you can't see that this is orange, right? And there's a little bit of a shine on it because it's made of metal that looks like gunmetal. If it was a dark room and I pointed this at someone and threatened them, they would think it was real. And then it is going to be considered legally as a real weapon at that point, because I threatened someone with death under the pretense that it is a real one and they can't see that it's orange and it's fake. So the point is this. His parents haven't let him have any of these conversations or let him watch this video. He's seen briefly these knocking about my flat while he was here last, but we were forbidden from going near why they were here. So his imagination would have gone wild. Why has my uncle got guns in his flat? So the parents then told him that I've got all these guns which are there to hurt people because I am a bad person. Imagine that. So not only did they learn nothing about the actual real threat they're going to demonstrably face when they go back into their schools. I mean, especially people that live in a city, Manchester, London, these kind of places. These kids are going into school and their classmates are pulling out these, or even worse, real weapons. And then they're walking around with them sticking out their, you know, their school bag like this as a threat to others. Why do you think that happens? Why do you think a kid thinks that's a good idea? It's because the parents have demonstrated that to them unknowingly, with the amount of lies that they spout to them and then blocking their eyes from seeing the truth. Guys like me saying things like this, buying things like these to teach kids like them about the world like that out there. But at the moment, all they're getting taught is propaganda on the news. They're being taught there's a horrible war and the people the war is on, they're the problem. We need to just kill them all and wipe them all out and then just never let them come back. That's the message they're getting, even though they're not being told that. They're not stupid. They know from watching people, actions don't equal words. Words equal words, actions equal actions. So it doesn't matter what you tell them, they're going to follow the actions. So, the conclusion of this video. Should kids be allowed to have things like these? No, not until they're 16. At 16, you know, you've got to start giving them a little bit more responsibility, and by then they should know they don't want to buy these things, unless, like me, they're buying them to demonstrate how this is a copy, a toy version of something which is designed to kill them and is wholly bad. In fact, the only way this is ever good is if you're turning it on someone who is coming to kill you and you put them in the ground before they get a chance to put you in the ground, and even then you've still killed. It's not murder, but you've still killed. That person will never ever breathe again. They're dead. So I hope that enlightened you to the scenario. I might even do a series on all the kind of illegal, you know, quote unquote illegal toys that I have that I was going to give my niece and nephew, so that I could explain these things to them, because they're just going to be unprepared now. I know for a fact the parents aren't teaching them these things, and I know for a fact the grandparents now are not allowed to, and they agree they're not going to be teaching them these things. So their first experience with guns and firearms is going to be one of their classmates with a real one who they've got somehow, bringing it into school, showing off with it, glamorizing it, making it a tool of power. Like, I've got it. They don't know I've got it. When they tell you it's bad and you're not allowed one, they're right, but I fucking got one. That's going to be their first experience. They're not going to get any of the background. They're not going to get the lesson or the sermon I was going to give about this. If someone produces one of these, this is the tactics, this is the strategy, this is how far it shoots, this is who they're going to aim at. After they've you've got this long. After they boom, you've got this long. They're not going to learn anything like that. They're not going to learn anything useful from seeing it in school, hidden in a school bag by the school bully, and that's what they're going to see. Or this one. They're not going to be told that this is a replica of a police gun. If someone produces one of these, especially if they're in a uniform, but sometimes if they're not, you can recognise this is not something a criminal will carry. If you see one of these, you still run away, but you keep in mind that person is probably a police officer. Alright? So it's motivating you to make good decisions in the battlefield, which you're not going to be able to make if your parents have told you that everyone who owns these are bad. And then you see that at school and you know that they're talking shit. So that's the end of today's sermon on guns and children and life. Hope it made some difference to whoever's watching this, and it just gave you a little bit more background into. I know it seems counterproductive to say I'm going to show kids guns. It's not as simple as that. They're going to see them anyway, is why I'm going to show them first, to prepare them for what they're going to see, and that is something I can't control. All I can do is prepare them for it. So hopefully you'll watch this and you'll prepare your children and your kids, or the kids of your family members. Despite what they say, you'll get them prepared. Or risk that they'll end up like Jessica Baker, who saw a weapon produced and ran onto the end of it. She was so completely naive about the fact that she could die, she actually ran onto it. That guy's now a murderer, and he says he wasn't actually going to use it. So that ignorant parent taught those two children, one to die on the blade of the other, and the other one to be there holding the knife, even though he wasn't going to kill anyone. So that's the conclusion, ladies and gents. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now. Sometimes I just feel like if human lying is the thing that creates all the evil and the ill and the death in the world. It's all down to people's lies, and then other people responding to lies. Let's keep it truthful, guys. Let's keep it factual. See you next time.